Today, we were going to do a morning hike today, but it turned into a morning car ride. We live in Barcelona, and we drove north up the coast to try to find a nice beach to walk on, but it's just kind of cold, so we just decided to just keep driving north, and it's a pretty coastline. Our lease is coming up in, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, and we might move in Eixample. I probably pronounced that wrong, sorry fellow Spanish people, but and like the north part of Eixample is like all the good restaurants, and in the part of Barcelona that we live in, there is literally nothing to eat. The tastiest place to eat next to me is like KFC and McDonald's. Not even joking. Everything tastes like dog food around where I live. But there's like this more upscale part of Barcelona. It's like to the north of Eixample, and everything is tasty. Like every restaurant is like super tasty. So we might consider that, but it's also super noisy. But yeah, we're also considering driving to Bilbao, which is in the Basque Country. And for you Game of Thrones fans, that is where they filmed Dragonstone, where Daenerys was hanging out for a while, and that one king that never smiled, that guy. And in the current series, the House of Dragons, that's where Rhaenyra is. If you couldn't tell, I was a dork, but I'm mainly a World of Warcraft dork over a Game of Thrones dork. But in the Basque Country, that is supposedly where the most Michelin stars are for Spain. The North Coast it rains a lot there. It kind of has this Oregon climate where there's a lot of rain and the soil's really good. Because it's kind of dry here on this coast, so the food's supposed to be better over there. So, and we're kind of in Barcelona. It's kind of like you think there'd be a lot of places to eat, and there are a lot of places to eat, but overall I feel like we've been kind of disappointed with the food selection here. So yeah, where do you guys, let me know down in the comments, where are you guys trying to plan to travel? I was working with somebody who's from Australia, Tony, and he couldn't travel to work. You know, his symptoms were so bad, and I don't even think I think he only did like 7 days of my program. He didn't even do the full 13 days. And this summer, he drove all throughout Europe, everywhere. And he could not have done that before, because he was someone who was having like diarrhea 10 times a day. You know, he did carnivore diet for a really long time. That's pretty. Interrupt my story. See, this is we're not in Costa Brava. Oh, and then we got some mountains and stuff over here. I think that was Alea. I think. El Masno, which is considering there as well. But yeah, he traveled the whole time. He ate whatever he wanted. You know, didn't have to. Trying to find a bathroom that's not disgusting to do your business sucks to do while you're traveling. And I've in the past in Europe have run into bathrooms that like don't have a toilet seat, don't have a door, and it's like in the middle of a tourist area. And you're like, I think I'm gonna go behind the bush somewhere instead. But yeah, for the rest of the day, I have, I'm gonna eat whatever I want. I think my girlfriend's We got some ramen, and we marinated some pork in teriyaki sauce. It's been marinating for almost 24 hours now, so it should be pretty teriyaki. But it was going to be good. So ramen, while watching Yellowstone. I remember when my symptoms were bad, and I'd be like watching a TV show with the family and stuff, and I'd have to like run to the bathroom and be like, hey guys, can we pause it? I couldn't, like, it's just very unpleasant. And then I would be the only one there. I'd be like, are you eating gluten? Are you eating gluten? You guys need to watch your health. And meanwhile, like, I was the person who was like the skinniest, had the most acneist, the most unhealthy. I was the most health conscious, yet the most unhealthy of the group, and like trying to like lecture people on health. Like, life has just been so much more pleasant since learning, the basics of German New Medicine. And I hear a lot of your guys' frustration with German New Medicine. I get it. You learn the basics, but then you're like, okay, how do I resolve this traumatic event? How do I resolve the tracks? How do I, the subconscious PTSD? Like, how do I do these things? And G&M almost gives you zero guidance. Like, I've even recently got my hands on, like Dr. Hammer's books. They're called Legacy of the New Medicine. His first book was written in the 80s, I think, and it's called Cancer, Disease of the Soul. And it's good, like, entry-level stuff to kind of understand the basic mechanics of what our body does in these traumatic situations, but there just is not enough guidance on how to do the therapy. And and a lot of it, the stance that I've been taking more recently is you got to understand how your brain works and how your psyche works. And I just don't, not to talk too much crap, but I just don't get that feeling that a lot of some of the G&M higher ups, they're like, this is hard, it's gonna take forever. If you tell that to the average human psyche, they're running the opposite direction, because a human, and any animal, they're trying to survive with the least amount of effort, the most efficient. And if you tell somebody it's going to be hard and it's going to be long, they're going to be like, I don't want to do this. And I just don't know how you could say you have a strong understanding of the psyche and you can't even sell your own product. So a lot of the things that I'm focusing on is like, and Dr. Hammer actually like begins to talk from this perspective of like looking at how things are done in nature. We have like a marking conflict, for example. When you look at the female, like a lot of our conflicts are with the opposite sex, and we like literally are completely oblivious to how different our biological roles are. If you look at a male dog, they are subconsciously, like when you see somebody walking a male dog, they are subconsciously marking their outer territory, and they don't even know that they're doing this, they're just doing it. And then if you look at a female dog, a lot of the times they won't go to the bathroom when you go for a walk. And this is after you remove their sexual organs, by the way. They still have this tendency. And I had mostly female dogs growing up, and they would they would only go to the bathroom like right around the house or on the property. Whereas the male dogs, you know, they're marking everything to let people, and that doesn't make any sense to us, but most animals, they get so much information from the nose, like from smelling things. It's like almost like a dating profile for a lot of these people. But like, you know, we mark our territory by, like, I put my coat on the seat. That's my seat, at least for now, until I leave. You know, we are more visual with how we mark our territories. You know, you mark your woman with like a ring or something, or a tattoo on the back if you're really classy. But even though, you know, I'm not gonna pee to mark my territory, it's still like kind of in our language, like, you piss me off and stuff like that. Like, I'm gonna, you know, if you're like really mad at somebody, you're gonna be, sometimes some people say, like, I'm gonna pee on you. I don't know, some people say that. But that archaic part of our brain, like the programming and the hardware, is still there. Like, if somebody is getting up to pee a lot, you know, me and my girlfriend have a cat that's like she's not very affectionate, I guess you could say. So if you like hug her too much throughout the day, she can tell you don't like it. She doesn't like it. But there's like this line that you cross with her. If she becomes too irritated, she subconsciously feels like she can't mark her little territory, and she literally just starts peeing everywhere. And she knows not to do this. She knows it pisses us off. And hey, I just said pisses us off. But it's like this subconscious primal drive to mark her little nest. And you know, us humans are not far off from that. You know, and a lot of you who have hemorrhoids or anal fissures, that's marking the inner territory. Usually animals crap in the inner territory, especially females. So that's the thing I really love about German New Medicine, is kind of helping us see things through the biological, through the survival perspective. Because at the end, you know, we love to overcomplicate, you know, psychology so much nowadays, where in reality all we're trying to do is survive with the least amount of effort. Survive, thrive, reproduce with the least amount of effort. And it's all going on behind the scenes, like subconsciously in our brain. You know, your conscious thoughts are, you know, we could barely argue that they're conscious. They're really, you know, produced from the subconscious part of the brain, you know, anyway. So, you know, you wouldn't be able to have a consciousness without the subconscious, or, you know, and we don't even, it's arguable how well we understand that. But when you cut through all the crap and cut through all the confusion, at the end of the day, if something's stressing you out, then because of a past memory you've had with that thing, either, you know, something your parents preached to you, your teacher teach to you, or what you saw on TV, you believe that thing is threatening your survival. That's literally, and you're not good at handling it, or you're not capable of handling it. And, you know, that's not to take like a cheap shot at you and say like, oh, you need to, you know, be more competent and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it also should encourage you to become better at solving your life problems. You know, I work with a lot of people, and, you know, they're just like telling me their story, and I'm like, man, your life sounds so stressful. You're like, you have 3 hobbies that are super expensive. One of them's pretty dangerous. and you have a family to take care of, and you have a super stressful job, like start slashing things that are eating up your time that you don't enjoy doing. Start, designing your life to be less stressful. But German New Medicine, and this is something I have to beat people over the head with when I'm, doing coaching calls. And, even I got to remind myself sometimes is that, G&M isn't about, most of the relief isn't about making your life less stressful. It's actually becoming consciously aware. It's actually becoming consciously aware of what your PTSD triggers are. And I talk about that in much more detail in my 13-day protocol. But I'll just give you like one last example. One time I was in the mall, and my girlfriend, she turned to go into the candle shop. And I was like, I don't want to go to this candle shop. I didn't throw too much of a fit. I was like, ugh. Just like that. And right then and there, I had to run to the bathroom. And while I was going to the bathroom, I thought to myself, oh man, my mom used to drag me into the candle shop, and I hated it when I was a little kid. And it was, I'm sure it was a DHS at the time because, and again, most of you don't have to go back into childhood. My symptoms started in middle school. They started in childhood. And, I was just tortured constantly in the mall, not being allowed to have my Pokemon cards and stuff and Ninja Turtle action figures. And the icing on the cake was my mom spending an hour, in this candle shop. And I just had that realization. I did not come to peace. Like, how am I going to enjoy going to the candle shop? I'm never going to enjoy going to the candle shop unless I get castrated or something. Like, I don't know. I'm just never going to. And so I went back in there, and I wanted to test this out. I continued to complain the whole time she was in there. She was in there for like 20 minutes. Didn't have to go to the bathroom. And then we came back about a month later, and she went in, and I complained the whole time, and I didn't have to go to the bathroom. So it's more about bringing our PTSD triggers and our conflict shocks to consciousness and really stressing making these timelines. It's like the timeline is the therapy. Tracking your symptoms and your PTSD triggers is the therapy. And my 13-day protocol is, how I would hold your hand through this whole thing. But, all right, we're almost at the destination right now. So, yeah, go sign up for the free version of my 13-day protocol. It is in the bio link below. Bye-bye.